What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 30th tutorial in Java game development. And now that we learned how to handle something when the user presses down a key on the keyboard, we made two other promises to our key listener class right here. So since we implemented from it, we said, alright, we're going to tell you how to handle key presses when they press down a button, and we're also going to tell you how to handle when they release a button. So let's go ahead and make that method right now. This is a lot easier than the last one. So let's just say key released, I guess. Nothing fancy. I was going to write a little description, but I'm a little lazy tonight. And the name for this method is public void, and it's key released. How cool is that? So now it takes an event as well, key event E, and the E is pretty much what button you released. So the first thing we want to do is get the key code of that button, and that's equal to the event, which is the button, get key code, just like that. So now key code equals the button. So what we want to do here is when you release it, we want to change the message. So this one was pressed at this. Well, let's just go ahead and copy that. And when you release it, let's just go ahead and change the method to, or message, not method, to released at key event get key text key code. A little too easy. And then after that, of course, you want to take the button and eat it up, so it's not waiting for another button or anything like that. So as you can see, this was a lot easier than the last one because it doesn't have this. You don't have to handle the escape, since once you press down the escape, it stops, and therefore you never have to wait for it to release. In the last method we need to do is a method which I should have an error right here. It says well, you'll see in a second. It's last method from interface, and this is public void key typed. Now I'm not even going to tell you guys what this does, key event E, because all we're going to do is consume right there, just eat it up. And what this means is pretty much just handle the button and don't do anything with it. This key type is pretty much useless for what we're doing right now. All we want to know is when you press down a button and when you let it go. You never use this key typed in games. You never really use it anytime, so that's why we're doing that. So the last thing that we need to do is draw the message on our screen. And remember, our draw method right here has nothing in it, so we need to override it, and we will do this by adding a comment and public synchronized void draw. And remember, synchronized means this method can only run and no other methods can run at the same time. So graphics 2D, just name it G. You always name it G, always. And now let's go ahead and put window, get our window object, and set this equal to s dot get full screen window. So now our window is equal to our screen, and we'll just put g dot set color. So our drawn color now is going to be equal to the background. So w dot get background, and if you can't remember, that's green. And what do we want to do now? Well, now that we're drawing with green, let's just make a big background. So g dot fill rectangle, and if you can't remember, all a rectangle does is draw a rectangle. So where do we want it to start? 0, 0, which is the top left of our screen, and that way it can cover everything. How wide do we want it? The width of the screen, so get width. Remember, that method should be in your screen class. How tall do we want this rectangle? As tall as the screen is, so s dot get height. So we want a rectangle starting at the top left, that's as wide as the screen and tall as the screen. Easy enough. So now let's go ahead and change our color, because if we draw green on green, we can't see anything. So g dot set color, and we'll go the window dot get foreground, just like that. And if you can't remember, the foreground of our window was white, and all we have to draw is g dot draw string and I knew it was going to give me all those parameters. For our string, what do we want to use? That little message. And what's the message? Well, it starts out as nothing, but when you press a button, it is going to say pressed like L, and when you release it, it's going to say released L. So that's what the message is. That's what we're drawing. Where do we want it? Let's just put it at like 30, 30 or something like that. So now that is our entire program, and I'm going to run this, and even though you guys can't see it, I'm going to show you guys what happens if I don't get any errors. So now my screen is green, and on the top left it says press escape to exit. Now I'm going to press the H button and hold it down, and it says pressed H. Now I'm going to release it right now, and it says released H. Now I'm going to press down I and hold it in, and it says pressed I. Now I'm going to release it, and it says released I. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit the escape key right here, and look at that. It stops my entire program and takes me out of full screen. So I'll make sure my screen recorder is still working. And I don't think you guys need to go over this code one more time, but I will, just for fun. Now, again, when we extended from core, we inherited all the methods and public variables from core. So now we have access to all of these, even though you can't see them. Then we implemented key listener, and we did this because this is the only way you can accept input from a keyboard. Some important things we did is we call the superclass's initialization function, which is this class. We set the window to the key listener, which means whenever something happens on my window, this is what I want to listen for. So whenever you press a key, that's just, you need to add a listener to something. And then we needed to make 3 methods from the key listener class, and those were key pressed, and this is how you handle a key when they press it down. This is key released, and this is when they finally let go of that key. What do you want to do? And key typed is not important. We're never going to use it. And the last thing that we did is we drew a message on our screen, and that message was dependent on whether we press down a button or whether we release the button. So that's how you do that. Those are the basics to how to handle keystrokes and key releases from the user. So now what can you do with this, and why would it be useful in a game? For example, if they typed in their name, or if they used the right, left, up, or down to jump and move around the character, or if they even use the keyboard keys to move around the character, this is how you would do that. So for now, I just want to thank you guys for watching. In the next tutorial, we're going to be going over how to get input from the mouse instead of just the keyboard, because once we have our keyboard and mouse, then the world is pretty much open to us. So for now, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial.